Speaking of shopping for new items, obviously Detroit Lions fans, including myself, always make a big deal about the trade deadline. You want to end.
Yeah.
We got into it yesterday. Got heated
we are
about
fighting.
backup offensive linemen.
Fighting.
And the Lions, like you said, they are in a window. Like Chris said, they should make a move or it's a wasted opportunity. But here is what Dan Campbell himself had to say about the trade deadline.
Expect to be active at all?
I mean, look, I don't, but that doesn't mean we won't. I mean, he's brought up a couple of things already. But there again, I'm so focused on the here and now and the roster we have in place, getting these guys ready to go. I love where we're at. I think the roster is I think it's healthy. I think it's in a good position. I think we have depth. But like I say, he's always looking to improve the roster. That's one of his jobs, and he does a hell of a job at it.
So there's Dan Campbell talking about, obviously, Brad Holmes is shopping. We hear all the reports of Brad Holmes shopping. He is consistently shopping. Every trade deadline we've heard of him calling teams. Every trade deadline, he's made a move for a guy. So I don't really expect this year's trade deadline to be any different than any other trade deadline the Detroit Lions have had for the Brad Holmes tenure. Are they going to make a move? Yes, I think they are going to make a move. Is it going to be this impactful, league-swinging, push them to the top of the betting odds move? No, probably not. They know they like the guys they got. Yes, they have the money to do it, but I don't know if they want to give up the assets to go after a big free agent when you just signed Aiden Hutchinson, you just signed all those other guys, you got Brian Branch and Jahmyr Gibbs and Jack Campbell and Sam Laporta down the hopper. You're going to need those picks to get cheap young talent.
Yeah, you are going to need those picks later, but we've seen Brad Holmes and his ability to hit late in drafts. I think that's going to be a big thing. But this kind of circles back. I have a question later when we go around the league a little bit. I threw a little Lions in there, but the Detroit Lions traded a lot of capital to move up to get Isaac Tesla.
Yeah.
So we're without a couple third rounders, which you could be throwing around right now to upgrade your team in the season. Luckily for us, we don't need to make too many upgrades. This isn't last year when your defense was decimated with injuries where you had to go get a Zadarius Smith. It's all about depth right now. And I think when this team's fully healthy, they're the best team in the NFL, and they are the best roster in the NFL. And I think that is a pairing right now where you don't have to be desperate at the trade deadline like last year.
I agree 100%. And we said it last year. When they were healthy, if they were healthy last year, they were the best roster in football. And you look at why the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl, because they had 21 of 22 day one starters playing in that Super Bowl. If the Detroit Lions had 21 of 22 day one starters playing against the Washington Commanders, 5 turnovers or not, they're beating them by 20. So I agree with you, Nick. And it's kind of the dichotomy of last season, because last season it was the defensive line that all fell apart and everybody was gone, and you didn't have anybody. And then your secondary is getting torched. This year it's the secondary. During the regular season, you can kind of withstand that. And we saw that with the Legion of Whom. Because your defensive line is healthy, because Aiden Hutchinson and Ali McNeil and El Quadima and DJ Reader and Tyleek Williams, and you're going to get possibly Ahmed Hassanin and a Marcus Davenport back, like, you can withstand some injuries in the secondary because you're putting so much pressure on the quarterback and you're dealing so much damage on that side of the defense. So it's a way easier bullet to take when it's the secondary compared to the defensive line. So that's why I'm not as desperate this year.
Yeah, I'm not desperate at all. And I think the emergence of AQM in this defense, it makes you don't have to go out and get an edge guy. I would like it, for backup because AQM is having an unbelievable start, but is it sustainable? I think it might be, but he's never been able to do it for a full year yet. So if AQM can keep this up, it'd be great. But that's when you can start to ease back a guy like Davenport, where he's not expected to be a star number 2 defensive end. He can come back and just do what he does best. And that's probably like play 10 to 15 maybe.
I'll tell you what.
How many snaps do you want him?
I don't want to see Marcus Davenport take a snap until the NFC Championship game.
Let's go, baby.
I do. If he's
not
healthy,
in the playoffs?
If not even in the playoffs.
Oh.
If he is healthy, if he is good to go, if he is 100%, you can play. don't. Like, don't. Just sit out until we get to the NFC Championship game and then give him 10 rotational snaps. That's all we need. Honestly, as long as everybody is alive that is right now, even if Marcus Davenport's healthy, don't play him until it comes to the NFC Championship game.
I think the NFC Championship game might be a little aggressive because we basically have a mini playoff game, not on this holiday, Spencer, but on the next one. Thanksgiving against the Green Bay Packers at home. That's when I would bring Davenport back if he is ready. But AQM has been great.
I feel comfortable beating the Packers without him. I mean, like,
I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves yet.
I think they're going to beat the Packers.
I do as well, but I don't think it's like I would like to see the spread of that game. It's probably within 5 points.
I'll just say I don't think Marcus Davenport will be the deciding factor of whether they're going to win or lose that game.
I would like to have him as as a rotational piece if AQM needs a breather.
Tyrus Wheat. Tyrus Wheat.
I'm not on the wheat train.
Not on the wheat train?
I'm more of a white bread kind of guy.
Wow. Surprise, surprise. All right.
Wow.
Come on, man.
What the? No, I'm kidding. Obviously set myself up for that one.
For sure. I mean, come on. It's
yeah, I know. We're joking. It's Friday.
Bit. Nick's not racist.
Yes.
We're all white here today, so, I mean, trust it if you want, but no, Nick's not racist.
He did take a black man's spot today.
Take a black man's job today. Well, a Mongolian man's job. Chris, how do you feel about what Dan Campbell said about the trade deadline and Brad Holmes constantly trying to make this team better?
Yeah, that's exactly what I want. Like, just, and I was never saying that Brad Holmes isn't going to be active. I knew he was going to be active and look for the deal. When I was talking yesterday about a deal, is I lean on. I feel confident that there is something out there that you could get for a good price that can help. And if you are in a title contention window, which the Lions clearly are, then you make that move. I feel comfortable saying that. It's a very blanketed statement. It's not an aggressive statement. It's just a matter of fact. If you are in a title window and you come across a deal that can help your team, whether that's a depth piece or a significant piece, you take it. And I think that's exactly how Brad Holmes is approaching this deadline.
Yeah. Brendan, how you feeling? Do you want to? You're new to this show. Mm-hmm. You're new to the network.
Yep.
You haven't been around for the trade deadline meltdowns that have happened on this show specifically.
Yeah.
Right hand to God, I have overreacted multiple times at the trade deadline.
Crashed out.
Now, I mean, the Detroit Lions have not won a Super Bowl yet, so my point stands. But I'm not going to do that this time. How would you feel if they don't make a move at the deadline?
I don't think I would be as upset as you, but I would definitely be upset.
Okay.
I feel like they should do something. Like Chris was saying, there's somebody out there that we could get that could help Aiden Hutchinson on the other side, for sure. I don't know. I hope he does. And I mean, Dan said he's already brought up a few people.
Yeah.
So that's good to hear.
That is good to hear.
I mean, there's also a reason if he doesn't want to get him, he's not gonna
overpay.
He's not gonna overpay. Exactly.
And he's not gonna make a trade just to make a trade.
Yep.
It's got to be, this team. I mean, you can hate to hear it if you want, but it's system, it's fit, it's culture.
Yep.
They're not just gonna get anybody in here. They got to get a guy that they like to play, a bigger edge that likes to play the run, and that is a good locker room fit. Like, they're not just gonna trade for anybody.
Yeah. I think you're just described Marcus Davenport when healthy, to be honest. When
that's
healthy.
That's why they re-signed him.
I know, and can this guy even play? It's like
If
this guy's straight out of Unbreakable with Bruce
Glass.
Willis over here. Yeah, honestly, I don't know what's up with Davenport. Can he stay healthy? I don't know, but AQM and his emergence has made this deadline has put so much less pressure on this GM Brad Holmes and this whole entire organization with the emergence of AQM. And when Dan Campbell said we're good, I didn't buy it for a second, but he was absolutely right. Obviously, he knows his team better than anybody.
Yeah.
And we've seen them be stubborn with that position specifically. But AQM has emerged as a very reliable pass rusher.
He has. And you like to see that Al-Quadin Muhammad is trying to rejoin. I do that every time. Ahmed Hassanin is trying to join this team in a couple weeks. He is trying to come back from his injury. And I saw a good point in there from Mark Royal. He said, I wonder if the Lions will try to trade Wingo. at the deadline, because that could be a piece that might attract a different team. He's a healthy scratch for the Lions the majority of the season because he doesn't really fit what they like. You know, he's kind of that James Houston, but more of a defensive tackle James Houston, like strictly a pass rusher, not going to play much in the run, kind of undersized. Some teams might get a lot of use out of a guy like that. Could you see them flipping a piece like that for a 6th-round pick at the deadline?
Nah, Spenny. It'd be
No?
great if it could happen.
Yeah.
Nobody's trading anything for Wingo right now. I don't think he's shown enough at the NFL level. I think when he came out and, you know, it was an intriguing prospect. It was a, you know, little dart.
He was a dog at LSU.
It was a dart at the board there, but it doesn't seem like Wingo really has found his place in this defense. And I don't, if they could somehow get a 7th for him, maybe. But if he was a former, like, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, maybe even 4th-round pick, I could maybe see it. But him being, you know, such a late-round draft pick, I think it takes down his stock even a little bit.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And also, I want to add to it, Nick. You brought up the good point yesterday about making a trade versus not making a trade, right? Is the additions that the other teams that you're competing with could make. The Packers, the Eagles, all of the Rams, all of those teams that you project to be at the top of the NFC. Hell, I'll throw the Bucs in there because I think that they're definitely a team that could make some type of move. So there's also that fact that if you don't make a move and they do, remember how bad we crashed out about the Tigers? You know, the Tigers were first in their division. They were looking great. They were looking like the best team in baseball. And then they started to slump. You saw the signs to worry, and you didn't make a move. And so while that's a different situation what the Lions are coming into the deadline, you're still at the top of the food chain, and you stay at the top of the food chain by making moves, just like the Niners did when they got Chase Young. We crashed out about it. Well, guess what? Chase Young beat us in the NFC Championship and was in the Super Bowl. So there is that part of it that you have to think about. And while I know Brad Holmes and overpay don't exist in the same sentence, and I don't expect that to change anytime soon, I do think you have to slightly consider that, given the context of the fact that the Eagles are going to be aggressive. They're going to push their chips in. The Rams are going to push their chips in.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Is that's what stands out to me the most. I know Howie Roseman's going to make a move at the deadline.
Don't like that.
I know Howie Roseman is going to go out there and probably get one of the best edge rushers moved this year. Is going to go to the Eagles because they need it. And he is going to make it happen. That's what he does. And he is all in his window already. So, yeah, he's pushing his luxury chips, like pulling chips from the ground and throwing them on the table because he's already won 2 Super Bowls.
Eagles are such an intriguing team at the
They are.
deadline right
They
now.
really
and
are.
especially, yeah, we got a little
trade
bit on that later.
A.J. Brown
We got a
for
little bit on that
fucking
later. Yeah.
Myles Garrett,
I mean, you could do some crazy shit. I'll ask you
I
a couple
would-
of questions later on that, but you got to watch out for if the Bengals are going to trade Trey Hendrickson,
yeah.
the Eagles are absolutely going to be going after him.
Yeah, they would.
And
for
if they
sure.
pair Hendrickson with Jalen Carter
would.
on that line, you're talking about a defensive line that's as good as the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
It would be.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, it would.
That's the only thing. But again, like I said, you're not just going to make a trade just to block the Eagles, or you're not going to make a trade just to keep up with the Eagles. That's not who Brad Holmes is. That's not what he is going to do. And so just hopefully they don't get anybody good. They're going to get somebody.
So let's do the scenario. Let's walk it out right now and say Eagles get a name. A
Hendrickson?
name. Yeah, like a Hendrickson, and the
No,
Lions
let's
don't
not
do anything.
That, dude.
No, but let's
I don't even want to
what's-
put that in the universe.
What's your
That's a clip.
reaction to it? Are you crashing out about that?
Yes,
or are you
I am
keeping-
crashing out.
See, I
If
can
the
tell you're
Eagles
raising your
trade for
voice.
Trey Hendrickson, I would crash out.
Yep.
Would you be pissed that Brad Holmes didn't move off of a first to do it?
It depends what it would cost. Not if it
If
was
it's a first.
No.
If the Eagles give up a first rounder for Trey Hendrickson and you don't do that deal, would you be upset?
No, I can't. No, I can't say because I would not trade a first round pick for Trey Hendrickson. Not a chance. So I can't say I would be mad if you didn't, even if you went to the Eagles.
I think I would. It's super risky, though. I mean, it's flat out
That's an
so
all-in
risky.
move.
Yeah, it is an
'Cause it's
all-in
1
move.
year.
It's F them picks because it's half a year.
Half a year, yeah.
But yeah, I just think with the way these contracts are breaking down and like you're going to have to be able to draft and develop these guys, I don't see Brad moving off of a first rounder, having that controllable 5th year. I don't see Brad doing that. But if the Eagles go all in and trade for Trey Hendrickson,
if it's
like-
anything lower than a second round pick, I would crash out probably. Like if they get Trey Hendrickson for a 4th round pick, then I would be pretty upset. But that's not going to happen.
It's not.
Trey Hendrickson's going to stay in Cincinnati and rot away in Ohio.
what other edges do you think are out there?
Nick wants to hear me edge, huh?
No, is there anybody that you have your eye on?
We talked about it's not.
It's
good.
the Dolphins a little bit.
Yeah, Jalen Phillips is a guy that they've talked about that they like. Jermaine Johnson, I think, is a real option when you look at how much he would cost and that pipeline with Aaron Glenn. Cam Jordan's probably not going to happen just because of the back end of that contract and the remaining years that they have. So it's not going to be anybody that you got a highlight tape of. It's not going to be anybody that you own a jersey of. It's going to be Tyrus Wheat adjacent. Like, not that bad, but it'll be between the skill level of Tyrus Wheat and El-Quadin Muhammad.
Yeah, I think last night you saw a guy take over, but he has the contract with him. Bradley Chubb is an extremely intriguing name, but the contract to pair with it is not going to happen for the Lions. But for a team that has a bunch of cap space, I could see, maybe a contender trying to go after Bradley Chubb. He had a great game last game.
I could see the Patriots going after Brett. Well, no, it's division. They're not going to do that. Every time I see
Miami's in such a dumpster fire. They just fired their GM. They could do it, honestly. Miami's all over the place.
Patriots are going to get. I think that if Trey Hendrickson or Myles Garrett or one of those guys goes anywhere, it's going to be the Patriots.
That'd be wild for the AFC East. But I think things are starting to heat up a little bit. But I'm surprised there hasn't been more moves made. Do you expect it after Sunday to be kind of a free fall, or do you think it's going to be more of a low key deadline?
I think after the games end this week, whether it's Sunday or Monday, I think we're going to start seeing the dominoes fall. And I don't think the NFL trade deadline is not the NBA trade deadline. Like, you're not going to get the 5 stars moved and everybody going all over the place. But the players will make plays, and I think it starts after Sunday.